Look closely. The black water is actually anti-gravity dripping towards the high altitude. Kane put the light down a little. The walls of the egg were translucent. He could see something wriggling inside. He got up again. The large, strange egg opened its mouth. Kane dares to poke his head forward. But the next moment, rest of the crew rushed the man back to the ship's medical room. The captain and science officer saw an incredible sight. The insect's corroded helmet clung directly to Kane's face. The tail wrapped around his neck several times. Faced with a creature they had never seen before, everyone looked a bit confused. The science officer tried to use the pliers to remove the bug. Not even hard enough, but its tail is tighter strangulation. If a little more force, Kane's neck may be broken. The doctor turned on the X-ray. The monster's tentacles are reaching down Kane's throat. If we don't take it out, Kane may not even survive the night. The doctors planned to cut the monster's tentacles from the joints. But as soon as the laser blade touched the skin, Kane's wound erupted in yellow blood. It corroded a small hole in the floor. The crew feared it would corrode the wiring. They rushed to the next floor. However, the room on the next level was also corroded. The molten substance dripped to the floor. Corrosion stopped only on the third floor. The creature's blood was a strong acid. Trying to remove the creature was obviously not feasible. They had to temporarily isolate Kane. By midnight, the captain was notified that the creature was gone. The crew went to the medical room and searched for it. Ripley wanted to get closer to see how Kane was doing. The monster had already lost its vital signs. The science officer and the captain discussed the matter. They decided to take the creature back to Earth and study it slowly. Ripley was strongly against this decision. The captain certainly did not accept the idea of bringing back the corpse of a shaped creature. It would mean that the money and reputation left the planet with the ship, officially heading back to Earth. The crew huddles together to try to come up with a solution. Suddenly they received a notification that Kane had woken up. He was in good spirits. He felt like he'd just slept. Other than thirst and hunger, he didn't feel any discomfort. The crew returns to the dining room to celebrate. While everyone was talking and laughing, Kane suddenly collapsed on the dining room table and writhed in pain. A small alien bursts out of his chest. One of the crew members grabs a knife. The science officer rushes to stop it. The little alien takes this opportunity and runs away. There was an alien monster on the ship. The crew looked worried. They made some equipment. One was a flamethrower. One was a motion detector. The crew split into teams to search the ship in a carpet. The man in the hat came to the warehouse alone. On the ground, except for a snakeskin-like object, he did not find anything else. What was surprising was that after only a few hours, the alien had grown several times. The man in the hat turned around. The drooling alien appeared in front of his eyes. In less than half a day, 2 people had died. The people on board were panicking. The captain felt this had to be reported. He went back to the central computer and recorded the incident. This was originally a mining freighter. It was returning when it received a distress call, so they went to the planet to check it out. They followed the signals and found an old moonship. There was no sign of life on the ship. Instead, Kane found a large number of alien eggs in the bottom of the ship, and that's where what just happened. The activity probe soon made a discovery. The captain went into the ventilation ducts alone to look for them. It seemed like they were going into a tiger's mouth. The captain's death starts to tear the team apart. Someone suggested abandoning the ship to escape, but the escape pod could not fit 4 people. The only way for them to get back to Earth safely is to work together to destroy the aliens. Ripley comes to consult the central computer. He accidentally discovered that the company had a secret directive. It says that if they find life in outer space, their first priority is to bring it back alive, even at the expense of the entire crew. The science officer obviously knew the secret. The 2 men argue in the computer room. Ripley wanted to go back and inform the others. The science officer, who had always seemed so quiet, suddenly knocked Ripley unconscious. He grabbed a magazine and shoved it into Ripley's mouth to kill him. 2 crew members were passing by, so they came to help, but they couldn't beat him. They could only grab a fire extinguisher and hit the science officer hard. The science officer suddenly went crazy and rolled around on the ground. Then he spit out a lot of white liquid. The man with the fire extinguisher continued to smash until the head of the science officer also smashed down. It turns out that the science officer is a cyborg. In order to find out the truth, the crowd reconnected the cyborg to the power. Ask him why he has a secret command. Cyborg told everyone. The company actually knew about the existence of the epidemic. It was a perfect biochemical weapon. Bringing it back to Earth would bring huge profits. Naturally, the lives of the miners are worth nothing. As for how to destroy the alien, the company didn't know either. It's better to ask for help than to ask for help. The men set fire to the cyborg. At this point, only 3 people were left on the ship. They decided to abandon the mothership and return to Earth in a small ship. Ripley went to make preparations for the launch. Jack and Anna went to collect supplies. Just when the 2 were busy carrying supplies, the alien suddenly appeared. Anna was so scared that she couldn't move her legs. Jack tried to save her. The alien turned around and knocked him over with a slap. Ripley heard the 2 screaming over the comms. When she got to the cargo hold, They were gone. Now he was the only one left on the ship. She fought her grief and returned to the control module to activate the self-destruct mechanism. On his way back to the small ship, Ripley discovers the alien's lair. The captain and the others were wrapped in cocoons. He was being used to breed a new generation of aliens. The captain begged her to kill him. Ripley fought back tears and burned the nest with a flamethrower. As she continues on her way, she finds the alien blocking her path. Now she has to go back to the cockpit and shut down the self-destruct system. But by now, the time limit had passed. The self-destruct sequence could not be shut down. Only 5 minutes left to get back to the small ship. Fortunately, this time she didn't encounter the opposite sex. She finally made it safely aboard the ship and started up without incident. The mothership was getting farther and farther behind her. The countdown begins. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. A bright light flashed, although it was far away from the mothership, but the aftermath still caused the small ship to shake violently. Ripley thought her nightmare experience was coming to an end. She activated the hibernation chamber and prepared for a good night's sleep. The alien's hand suddenly reached out from the console. Ripley was so frightened that she screamed, but she quickly calmed down. She ducked aside and put on her spacesuit. She returned to the cockpit again. The alien was gone again. She carefully pushed the cooling system. The cold air forced the creature out, but the cockpit was soon filled with white, cold air. Ripley held her breath nervously, looking for the alien. The alien suddenly appeared. Ripley pressed the hatch switch in time. The strong air pressure difference sucked the alien out, but it clung to the hatch and refused to let go. Ripley grabbed the rope gun. The iron hook penetrated the alien's chest and knocked it out. It was one of the most powerful monsters in the universe. It hooked its tail around the ship's jet and tried to climb back out. Ripley accelerates in time. The tail flame blows out. The monster was finally sent into the darkness of space, safe and sound. Ripley made a log. Then she took the kitty into the hibernation chamber. But what she didn't know was, the centuries-old feud between her and the alien was just beginning. This is the end of the first episode of the classic science fiction movie Alien.